Oh, let's go. Okay. All right, let's go like right there. Right now, that's perfect right there. Perfect. All right. I think everything's squared away. We are squared away. Alex, you seeing the stream coming in hot?
Yeah, we're going to have...
You're getting the signal?
I am.
Oh, let's go. We're doing good today. Welcome, everybody, to another morning of Good Morning Kyiv. I'm Andy Mercado.
I'm Alex Kinash.
And we have a very special guest with us again for the second time, surprisingly, where you nearly killed him last time. But go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
What up, guys? Johnny FD here. If you watched my last live stream, I brought myself my own coffee this time because the Nescafe last time almost killed me.
It did happen. Like, it was full blown. Like, he had to walk off the little area that we have here and take a moment, like, live. And it's like, oh man, we can't cut the camera. And he knew it. He's like, okay, I have to muster it up and just get it done. But welcome back again, Johnny.
It's for your own safety that you bring better coffee, Johnny.
Especially because before it started an hour earlier.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, it's a big difference waking up at 7:30, which is, pretty normal. You do that for school or work. But having to wake up at like 6 or 6:30, it's too much. I can't do it.
We had to put you through the ringer first. We had to see what you were made of.
What my dedication was.
Yeah, we had to see if you were really about it and make you.
I wasn't good. To be honest, if you said, "Hey, you got to be here at 7 again," I would have said either I'm gonna wake up at 7 and I'll come as quick as I can, just have everything set up, start without me, or I would have been like, "Sorry guys, I'm gonna do this one from bed. If you want, I'll call in."
I looked at Alex when I got here for the second time, and I was like, I can't, I just can't make him wake up that early. Yeah. It's not fair. Was it, Alex?
I mean, it's close to a war crime, really.
It damn near is. I mean, it just can't happen. We pack so much into a day, waking up at 6 in the morning voluntarily.
I do think we can do like remote Good Morning Kyiv, though. Like, we could have done one from Johnny's bedroom.
Yes. So that way Johnny just has to click the light on and just be like, all right, here we are.
It starts turning.
Good Morning Kyiv.
It starts turning the light on in his room and him being like, what the fuck?
So as always, you guys, we're raising money for NAFO for these streams, the 69th Sniffing Brigade, which now all of us have done trucks. Johnny just completed his truck.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. I was going to bring my NAFO license plate because I thought it would be a cool prop, but I'm glad you have yours because I was too lazy to carry mine. Oh,
yeah. This is actually Alex's, too, thankfully. I have mine in the room, too, but this is awesome, you guys. The link is in the description of the video. We're at we're over halfway now between me and Alex's Good Morning Kyiv truck, which is awesome, but we need to get there so I have another truck to deliver and I can come back to Ukraine and see Johnny FD.
So I want to take this moment to thank both of you guys because before I came on Good Morning Kyiv, I had not even considered doing a fundraiser for a NAFO truck.
Wow.
I don't know why. I saw some other YouTubers doing it. I saw Arthur Ray doing it. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure my audience is not the military truck campaign kind of guy. Yeah. Like, if I needed, school supplies or humanitarian aid or medicine, they've always been there. Like, my audience has been really good helping, like, the kind of humanitarian side. Yep. But they've never been, the military side. Yeah. Which I understand. There's kind of the separate audiences. There's the people who, like, they understand that, it's a war. We're being attacked. The only way to defend yourself against Russia is unfortunately to be stronger and better military-wise. So it is necessary. Yeah. But my audience is, just normal people, like a lot of it's just like, it might be like a grandma at home that just cares about kids, cares about, just people, refugees. Yeah. So I was a bit skeptical. I was like, oh man, this is going to be hard to do. And I remember the guys at NAFO were like, oh, hey, welcome on board, Johnny. Let's do 2 trucks. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, let's just try to do one because I had a feeling that if I couldn't get to the 16,000 euro goal, which is like 17,000 something, I'd have to pull some of that out of my own pocket. Yep. And that's actually what ended up happening because I ended up matching everybody's donations to kind of get to the final, and it was tough, but it was 100% worth it. I'm glad we did it. If there's any big donors out there that want to help these guys out get their truck, links in the description below.
Appreciate that, Johnny. It's a good return on investment, isn't it? You see what you're putting your money in. Isn't that right, Alex?
It is. I think pickup trucks are still the priority for most units that we meet, so it's a very important bit of equipment. And it's great to see that the team, as soon as they got Johnny into a Telegram channel, started upselling him to like 2 trucks, 3 trucks. You know, you can put a few drones in as well, can't you, Johnny? No problem.
But I don't know what the status is, but I've heard my guys, the donors, still haven't gotten their patches yet. Because I haven't gotten mine yet.
It takes a bit. It does take a bit. They're getting them out. My patches haven't even rolled out yet either, and I think I started the Mercado org patch a little bit before. But they got their dog tags, and they're getting all of it. They're getting evidence of it, so they are being sent out. If we have to go over there to lift and say, hey, where are the patches?
I mean, I know they're busy. I know they got a lot going on.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I think for most donors, the patch is kind of the nice kind of cherry on top. They see the truck. That's the most important thing.
Yep.
That's vital. That's already on the front lines.
Yep.
So bear with us, guys. I apologize. I also want my patch. I haven't even seen mine in person yet, so
we will get those taken care of. We'll make sure. Like it's too easy, and it's awesome too. And if any of you have a question, you can also reach out to like Dimitri or the NAFO guys too, and be like, "Hey, I donated a while ago. Is it here?" And then they'll respond, "Hey, we're like a little bit backed up a bit. It'll take a bit." So they're pretty transparent in that.
And if you want to say it in Ukrainian, it's suka. Donde estás muy pecho?
Love that.
I don't know how to say Spanish, but
I'm actually gonna need that because I'm gonna be doing journalism at the U.S. border now. So I'm gonna need that. I'll mix in a little Ukrainian with Spanish. Exactly. So, Johnny, what have you been up to since we last saw you in July and we nearly killed you with our instant coffee?
All right, so I gotta be 100% transparent. Sometimes in the morning, I just kind of like need to like cough a little bit.
Yeah.
Like even if I have good coffee, like actually my really good coffee, I haven't felt this need yet. But there's like always a 10% chance. I'm like, okay, you know what? It's the morning. Gotta clear my phlegm. You know.
Yeah.
I'm getting older, guys. I don't know if you can tell on camera. You know, but. It's not COVID or anything. It's just like I'm just like okay, guys, I'm awake. It's like the monster has to release. But yeah, since my birthday in July, I've been in Kyiv mostly. I took a couple trips. Went to Lviv, did a talk there. Went to the Carpathians, beautiful mountains, and then I went to Odessa just last week.
Ooh,
beautiful beach town. I'm happy that this exists. It's one of those places where we didn't really appreciate before war.
Yeah.
Simply for the fact that it was so easy to fly on like a package tour to Turkey or to Egypt and go to the Red Sea.
Yeah.
You know, on these like all inclusive trips, that it was almost the same price to go to Odessa and get a hotel there. But now that the airports are closed, I'm really appreciative of Odessa.
Yeah. The beauty of Ukraine, I mean, a lot of us see Kyiv now because, you know, you have YouTube channels or people who show it, or like the East where it's war-torn, and like I was there, and it's like, but a lot of people miss out on the mountains and the beaches. There he goes. This isn't our fault. Not our fault. We didn't do it. He's having his morning cough. Just give him a second. He'll be all right. Give him a minute.
I'm glad that we're completely innocent.
Yep.
No, like we're completely innocent.
For the record. For the record, that was not us this time.
Thank God.
God. So, Ukraine has so much beauty to it that is unseen, which I need to go to. I need to go to the mountains, and I need to go to Odessa and see the beaches down there. How many times have you been in those regions, like the mountains or the beach, like since you've lived here?
I think this is my second time to the mountains. I went once during winter, the Carpathians. It was beautiful. It's a place called Dragobrat. There's some videos on my channel where I'm like skiing and trying to ski. I'm not really bad at it. But just like a magical place. Odessa actually was the first city I've ever been to when I came to Ukraine.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't come by air. I came the first time by a blah blah car. Have you taken one of those?
No.
It's a very popular service in Europe. It's basically kind of like, you know, that section on Craigslist where it says like ride share, like I'm going this way, does anyone want to jump on? It's kind of like, you know, paid hitchhiking. And we did that from Moldova because there was no train back then to Ukraine. And we couldn't really find any other good options.
Yep.
So me and a friend were like, all right, we'll just take this like blah blah car to Odessa. And, yeah.
And that worked out for you. Wow. Then what did you see when you just got down? You were just there, so
Yeah.
it's fresh after the missile attacks on the city are constant. What did you experience?
Well, so first off, I knew it was slightly dangerous to go there. Russia's been sending missiles at the grain silos and the port for the last couple of months now. If anyone's not familiar with the grain deal, it's a little bit complicated, but at the end of the day, what it is Russia doesn't want Ukraine selling their grain, so Russia can sell theirs for more, and then Ukraine has less money.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, it's all economics. The downside to Ukraine not exporting their grain is a lot of countries that depend on it in Africa or Southeast Asia, their prices for food are going to go up, and it might even cause maybe a whole famine, or maybe just like food insecurity. Who knows? But either way, it's definitely a war crime to be bombing people's food. Like it's just like it's one thing in a fight on the front lines. It's a whole other thing to bomb civilian infrastructure, and I think it's even a worse level to say, let's destroy all the food that the farmers grew the whole year. That's meant to feed millions of people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's horrible. It affects more than just the people that are fighting the conflict. The soldiers. I mean, the farmers, the civilians, the children. It's just a horrible environment. We're going to talk more, but if you guys, as we're talking, Alex, our amazing co-host, is reading the chat, answering you guys' questions. But if you have any specifically for Johnny, Alex, or myself, you can at Alex and ask him, and he will read some. Do you have one for us, Alex?
I do. I think
Okay.
people were saying that Johnny has been, like, there's some video of you going to a cold springs or something like that. Is
You
there
went to a
something?
cold springs?
They're saying that you should take us to some cold spring, and how cold was that spring?
What is that?
Well,
It
what?
was like I think this one was near Lviv, kind of towards Carpathians. It was just like a really cold ice bath kind of thing.
Yeah.
I would love to take you guys there, but it's too far.
I feel it.
And unfortunately, there's actually nothing like that at all near Kyiv.
Dang.
But when I lived in Kharkiv, there was the local park
Yep.
had a free ice bath. It was like water that came from the ground that was always cold. So even in the summer, it was cold.
Wow.
And it wasn't quite zero, but it was like, let's say like in the 40s or 50s in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Fahrenheit for you guys watching.
Yeah.
It was very cold water, and it was so refreshing during the summer.
Yeah.
They had a free outdoor gym that you would go work out at.
Yep.
Run around the park, and then to this ice bath. I loved it. I miss Kharkiv. That was my favorite city, actually.
I just got back from there. I got to see the zoo, interviewed Fumi-san, which I still have the interview to post. It was a beautiful city. It just was unfortunate I saw it in the state that it's in right now. It's just, though you can feel the war more than you can here.
I would say this, that Kyiv feels like 90% normal now. Maybe some days 99% normal. Lviv almost 100% normal. Except for like very rare cases. But places like Kharkiv, you feel like probably less than 50% normal. A lot of places are closed still. There's more tension. You can kind of feel and even smell the poverty and the kind of the suffering still.
Yeah.
Like you can see people going through a lot.
Yeah.
Because they probably wouldn't still be there if they could afford to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And this, isn't just for Kharkiv, but it's pretty much all the frontline cities. Zaporizhia, Kherson, Mykolaiv. If you go to any of these cities, they've been hit a lot harder, but also they're in a lot more immediate danger. Which means people aren't going to spend the money to rebuild as quickly because it might get hit again. While in Kyiv, if something gets hit, the very next day they start fixing it. They replace windows. While in Kharkiv, there's still a lot of places that are just boarded up or with plastic bags over the windows.
Yep.
Like I finally fixed my roof in Kharkiv, like literally last week.
Wow.
So, for those who haven't followed my channel, last winter, one of Russia's rockets was blowing something up in the city center, and I think it got intercepted. It blew up in the air.
Yeah.
But then you have all the shrapnel that falls everywhere.
Yep.
And unfortunately, when you have metal, pieces flying into tin roofs or buildings' roofs, and I'm on the top floor, it just went straight through my living room.
Oh my goodness.
Luckily, it wasn't that big of a piece. It was probably like a orange-sized piece. So I have a hole there. Maybe it's the hole's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
and it didn't do too much damage, but it messed up like my counters, my floors a little bit. The roof, you could see, I had like a Russian skylight, as I called it, and I patched it up, just so.
Are you comfortable with sharing how much that costs, like, to fix?
Luckily, it's really cheap.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, there was a program where you can submit it for Russia to repay you after the war.
That's awesome.
So, if you're listening to this, it was $20,000 to fix that.
Reparations are being tracked.
Yeah, but
that's awesome.
No, it was cheap because labor is relatively cheap. It's like literally a few $100s.
Yeah.
But it was just a pain in the ass to try to find a skilled worker, like a roofer, because unfortunately, all the good workers either left for Poland or they're in another city. They're not hanging out around Kharkiv anymore.
So, I just went out to the movies and saw 20 Days in Mariupol, and you had commented on my posts that you had seen it yourself as well. My tweet about it is going viral on Twitter. It's like there's like a lot of people haven't seen it yet. What is your reaction to it? I played the trailer for it on my stream last night, so more people are aware. What's your review or reaction to the movie? No, without spoiling it.
Well, the spoiler is Russia's a fucking dick.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But what's really good about this documentary, and it's probably the first documentary that's ever been shot in like a live war zone, like with technology, because every other documentary, it's either like I don't know, they have to remake things because it's like it happened so much later, or it's really just terrible footage that they have to try to like make a story behind.
The World War II footage just got colorized 10 years ago.
Yeah. This, and kind of the story and how it was made is there was a journalist for what's that company that like makes all the footage for everyone else?
Associated Press.
Yeah, AP. Yeah. Yep. So it was AP journalists that decided, hey, let's go to Mariupol during the kickoff of the war, and all the other foreign journalists left within a few days because they're like, this is too dangerous. These two guys stayed. And they basically documented the first 20 days of the war. And they filmed it like they would like any kind of newscaster.
Yeah.
And for those who wonder why all the news stations in the U.S. use the same footage, especially in situations like this in Ukraine, it's hard to get frontline footage.
Yeah, this really shows how hard it is.
Yeah.
Especially to transmit it.
Exactly. So they take whatever clips they can find from companies like AP, which is basically like they're like a freelance, film crew basically.
Yeah.
And then they, they can share, they can have their story on that. Yep. So this was like a behind the scenes documentary of a filmmaker or a journalist who showed his life being potentially under Russian occupation and then actually under Russian occupation. And to me, as someone who was actually in Ukraine during the start of the war, this was the best way for a normal person who's never been through war to understand that war starts really slow. And everybody looks around and they're like, oh, yeah. I think we're still okay.
Yeah.
I think we're still okay. And then day 2, day 3, day 4, you're like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I can see something's happening, but I think I'll still be okay. And all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, oh my God, why am I still here? Now I can't get out.
That's exactly what it was like. It was like the slow bleed of the city during the film. And it's like that. Like you said, it's like the panic, and then days go by and it's like, oh, it's better. There's like ways out, and then it just gets worse and worse. Seeing it here in Ukraine with Ukrainians, like I was probably the only English speaker in the theater when I went, minus Maria, who translated for me, because the version we saw here was when they were speaking Ukrainian, there was Ukrainian subtitles. It's in English, the movie is, and then when they're speaking Ukrainian, they'll have English subtitles on for you. But the one here, obviously, like I was kind of SOL for when they were speaking the language, but Maria translated, which we'll have her on tomorrow morning, by the way, too, and talk with Maria. But being in the theater among Ukrainians was an experience that, like, every single male in the theater was like this the whole movie.
Wow.
and at the end, when it ends, nobody moved for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was the same experience.
Yeah.
That I had. I was in a much bigger theater, and I actually saw it on the first day.
Oh, wow.
That it came out, and so people didn't really know what to expect yet.
Yeah.
Ukrainians actually, there was not a documentary. It was like a drama. Those TV dramas.
Yeah.
That was supposedly based in Mariupol.
Yeah.
That was made just for a Russian-Ukrainian audience, and people hated it because they watched it and they're like, "This doesn't show what happened there. This is like some love story or some child, and people really hated it. So when this movie came out, when this documentary came out, a lot of Ukrainians are skeptical, saying, I heard, my friend saw it, 2 months ago, and I was like, wait, this one, this is a different.
Yes,
film.
a lot of people were commenting on my post too, saying, "Oh, I saw this movie. You need it." I'm like, no, this isn't even out yet.
So I will guarantee you, as someone who has lived in Ukraine, during most of the war, that has hosted families from Mariupol at my apartment, that knows a lot of people who have been through this. This is a very accurate film. This is a really, really accurate film. It's also from the perspective of a journalist who was moving around the city during the time. So don't expect to see a lot of scenes of the people suffering in a basement or hiding from war, because unfortunately there hasn't been a documentary released from that perspective yet. So he does show it a little bit, but there was a lot more suffering from different angles that this film wasn't able to show. But in general, you could see the how it all happened.
When I get back to the U.S. and the release is out, I'm going to try to find theaters in Minnesota or Wisconsin or wherever the closest one is, and hopefully try to push it out so people can get to it and see this thing, because it's a must watch. You got to see this.
Yeah. I think if every single person in the world watched this documentary, the world would be a better place.
Yeah.
Mainly because people would understand, oh man, this is what these people actually went through. Even people in Kyiv, I have a feeling, there's a chance that half those people in the theater had never seen it kind of firsthand. They had heard stories, they had seen news clips, but for them to actually, see that, they're like, oh crap, because we've been very lucky in Kyiv itself that this city was never occupied. Unfortunately, it's not the same for people who were close to the front line or in Irpin or Bucha. Those people they saw the suffering. They felt the suffering firsthand. If everybody in Lviv watches this, I think they'll have a better understanding of, okay, that's what they were talking about. That I could see now what they were talking about, and not just had heard about it secondhand, but see it firsthand.
100%. All right, let's give the weather report from our pal Alex, and then let's get a few questions from either Alex himself or from the chat. All right, Alex.
Just on the film, just quickly, just because quite a few people are asking, where can they watch it, and when, and can they buy it? That's come out quite a lot here.
So November 21st, from what I've been told from many, is PBS is broadcasting it. So, and if they do this, it's going to be probably the most graphic documentary ever on public television, hands down. So if they're doing that, they can't edit anything out, which I don't know what they're going to do with it. I really hope that they release the real full version, because that's happening. But also, I had seen October 6th that's going to be released in theaters publicly, more so than just the artsy ones that do film festivals. That's going to be released at normal, known movie theaters. So stay tuned. It's coming up. All right, Alex, weather, and then
well,
any questions you have.
Like we did say at the beginning of the week, when it was looking like Great Britain outside in the grey, it was going to be bright sunshine for the rest of the week from the morning, and so far Kyiv has delivered. You can see from Andrew's beautiful camera work with Johnny there that we have a bright blue sky, not a cloud in sight. For the numbers that mean nothing to me, it says it's 57 degrees, which is warm enough not to be wearing a coat. But it's actually getting pretty warm today. It's going up to 75, which for all normal people that use Celsius mean you would have burnt alive on the floor. But in American terms, that means you can wear shorts and t-shirt. Would you say today it'll be all right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is shorts and t-shirt weather later. Not right now though. It's a comfortable sweater and pants.
It's not like, oh, I'm in the Caribbean right now, but
no,
it's warm enough.
It's warm enough. It's comfortable clothes weather. That's how I like to put it.
But later on, you could wear shorts. Obviously, I can't because I fall over things and just bleed everywhere.
Do Brits even wear shorts?
Huh?
Do Brits wear shorts?
Yes, I have like friends that just like wear shorts like in the winter, just because I think it's a British thing to like pretend you're not absolutely fucking freezing when you are.
Or sad.
Yeah, especially up north. Like, you know, when we play football against like Newcastle or Leeds, they'll all have like their shirts off in the snow. And
oh my goodness.
And I'll be there going, wow.
Couple questions.
One day I hope to be that much of a man.
One day you have to have a pork bun to be a whole man, Chad. Ain't that right?
Sure.
Go ahead, Alex. Couple questions either from yourself that you have for Johnny or from the chat.
I mean, the chat has been going on about all sorts of things so far, but there was people were noticing that you support like Brandon Mitchell, the medic. You know him, and they were interested in that and what you do for him and how you help out.
Yeah, so Brandon was the first like military-ish person I helped. He wasn't specifically military at the time. He was a like a medic, but it was it was a combat medic. So he was taking soldiers from the front line and treating them in a field hospital nearby, or all the way, or do CASEVACs to a nearby hospital in a nearby town. And I had been following his stories for a while. I was talking to him online a little bit, and he was with a company called the Hospitalers, which has a really deep history here in Ukraine. They've been around for a long time. And funny story is, Brandon actually went to Rogue for a bit in the beginning, where he wanted to do more on the front line, but the Hospitalers like, listen, like, we don't want the liability of having a foreign medic get hurt. He's like, just drive these supplies down to the front line and come back to Kyiv or wherever it was. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. So he goes down there and he just starts like evacuating like civilians, evacuating babushkas, evacuating dogs, evacuating military guys. And at some point, I forgot what he was using, but he didn't have a 4x4 vehicle, and it needed he needed something with 4-wheel drive to go through these fields, to get through the mud, and he also didn't have helmets. Like, he didn't have any armor. He didn't have like a vest, a bulletproof vest. He didn't have helmets, and I don't know how it happened, but I think I said to him, I was like, listen, how much money do you guys need, like, just for like basic body armor? And he's like, oh, I don't know, like, I just like, I'll buy the cheapest one. And I was like, you know what, here's $2,000. Like, just like get yourself something, like, so you don't die. And he turns out I was his first ever donor. But because I kind of shared that and I started showing his video, he went out and he's like, man, your audience, Johnny, has not only doubled what you donated, but like, now we have too much. I don't know what to do with it. So he asks his Hospitaler like commander and says, what should I do with this money? And they said, well, you need a 4x4. So that's the first vehicle that we ever ended up buying. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice one, Johnny. Nice one, mate. I mean, yeah, and I think everyone here is going like, nice one to that as well. And I think that they're saying that, have you bumped into random people that you know in Ukraine as well? Someone from Thailand, they're saying. Like, is that right? Have you?
Christoph, you mean? Christoph Hubert? Okay. If you guys haven't followed me for a long time, I lived in Thailand for about 10 years. I've had a lot of different weird stages in my life. Like, there's a about me or like a whole vlog on. If you look at my description on YouTube, you know, I went through so many stages in my life. I was a raver for a while. I was playing Magic the Gathering for a while. I was trying to learn how to pick up girls using this like pickup artist tactics and magic tricks for a while. So I was technically a magician for a while, and then I realized all that's so stupid. Like it's not working. So I moved to Thailand and actually became a full-time scuba diver for 5 years, and then a full-time Muay Thai fighter for 3 or 4 years.
So you know Muay Thai?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've had a couple matches then, and then after that I became a digital nomad where I was working online. And I did that for the last like maybe 5 or 7 years, and through that I met a lot of kind of really interesting people from around the world, including Christoph Hubner, who is actually like the ambassador for the Estonia e-residency program, and he was a speaker at I had a conference called the Nomad Summit, and we just we were friends, and I didn't hear from him for a few years, and all of a sudden I randomly bumped into him here in Thailand, in Kyiv, when he was delivering one of these NAFO trucks. So when I was able to fundraise for mine, he volunteered to drive it over, and he was super cool. So Danke schön and therapy sex to Christoph, because he filmed like the whole journey from Estonia to bring it here. So it was cool to see it, but also it made a cool video.
You've known some. Yes, it's really interesting, isn't it? Like the variety of people that get involved with the trucks, though, as well.
The fact that he knew him before you even came to Ukraine, let alone now you're seeing him drive a NAFO convoy that you have a vehicle on into. That's a great story. All right, Alex, a few more.
It is good. I was listening to the story there, you see, and now I haven't got any questions directly to hand. But let's actually see if anyone's. Now I'm a moderator on here. I can look at these other. I can go through these other things.
Well, we gotta give a shout out to that Indian dude. He
Yeah.
had $20 Aussie, which is probably $3 in America.
So the Indian dude, he stumbled across Johnny FD from your Sri Lankan videos during the pandemic. You're in Sri Lanka in the pandemic, were you?
Yeah. So actually, that's where I became a full-time YouTuber.
That's when you started.
So, was it 2020?
Yeah.
All right, I'm trying to block that year out of my life, so I forget.
There's a dog
Yeah,
here.
it was terrible for everyone.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's funny because I think everyone thinks that they had it the worst.
Yeah.
But I'm like, trust me, there was way worse places to be than, like, I'm sure wherever you were, it was uncomfortable and inconvenient to wear a mask to like walk to CVS.
Yeah.
I couldn't even leave my hotel room for 2 months. We were locked up in just wherever we lived, and they would only let us out every few days to go get groceries.
What?
And then you have to go back. So it was a dog shit terrible time, but the reason why I stayed was I didn't know where else to go. I didn't necessarily want to go back to the US at the time. I was like living in a really cheap hotel room, like with the ocean view, and I was like, I have a balcony, I have internet, like let me just sit this out, see what happens. Turns out they closed the airport, so I couldn't get off the island anyways. I had 1 year, actually 13 months on this island of Sri Lanka, which is beautiful, by the way, but it's also, I don't think the term third world country is appropriate anymore, but like it doesn't have the best infrastructure.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi runs out. It's not unlimited Wi-Fi.
It just ends.
It just ends. You just like, that's it. Like, that's enough. And you have sometimes electricity problems, and then you have things like crazy bus drivers that will drive like 100 miles an hour down like a tiny beach road and just like knock people over. I met girls who broke their arms because they were just walking on the side of a beach. Bus, boom. It's just like it's just a crazy place. But when I was there, I had sold my online business. I had an e-commerce store where I was selling like spa furniture. I was dropshipping in the U.S. and I was like, I'm just gonna take a break for a while. I have enough money to kind of coast for a few years. And that's when I started making YouTube videos because I had nothing else to do. So thank you to Sri Lanka, because if it wasn't for Sri Lanka, I probably wouldn't have started YouTube full time, and I probably wouldn't be making videos, and I probably would have been sitting here with you guys.
That's dope.
Where was I? Oh,
You were
must
checking your
excuse me.
Tinder. Do you have any?
Mate.
No, was that Grindr? Wait.
It was. It was being very busy, Johnny. No, I've got to get a taxi very soon. So like, this is the last thing that I can do. Yeah. I've got to go and do some work, mate. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So.
I took over the live chat, mate.
But yeah, someone needs to take over. I've got to go and get in a bolt.
How am I not a moderator? Can you make me a moderator, sir?
But someone has asked whether Johnny can remember any of the magic tricks that he used to do from his magic trick period of life.
So to be fair,
Give your final thoughts before you leave.
yeah.
Final thoughts.
Well, thank you very much for getting involved with raising the money for the truck, Johnny.
Yeah.
You know, you did a great job.
Thank you, sir.
No,
And thank you for inspiring me to do it.
No, but it's a pleasure, mate. And, you know, you smashed it, and all the help you've given to Brandon and everything else. It's amazing, right? So, yeah, everyone keep watching the show, because it'll be much more interesting than just having me here rambling on about crap. And other than that, make sure you buy the Good Morning Kyiv truck as quickly as possible, because electronic warfare is a huge issue and something that will be of great benefit. And keep smiling.
Thank you so much, Alex.
See you, buddy.
See you later, buddy. See you later.
Take care.
Absolutely. All right.
Oh yeah, that's the
Yep.
Alex replacement.
Couch replacement. All right. Barry's mom made that. Yeah.
What? I want one.
Yeah. Oh, Barry. Johnny
Barry.
FD wants one.
Where you is?
Your mom.
¿Dónde estás, boys? Monkios. Okay. Zadas Angeles. No. How do you say now?
Fuck.
Yeah.
No, you got me on the spot.
How's my Spanish?
You got me on the spot.
We're gonna switch to all Spanish from now on, guys.
We'll have a Spanish broadcast next time tomorrow.
¿Cómo estás?
Bien. ¿Y tú?
Ah, muy bien, muy bien.
¿De dónde eres?
Medical San Francisco.
Soy en Kyiv.
Yo
soy en Kyiv.
Yeah. God, you know, you won't believe this, based on how terrible my Spanish is now.
I gotta get good at it.
But my Spanish was not bad. It wasn't
wow.
It wasn't terrible, because I was living in like Spain and the Canary Islands, and then I lived in Mexico, kind of in total for about a year.
Yeah.
And I was able to get by. I wasn't nearly fluent, but I could watch like Telemundo and understand what they were saying.
Yeah.
Especially with subtitles, I understood almost like 80%.
Yeah.
And, I was able to like give taxi drivers directions. I was able to order the food I wanted. As soon as I came here and I started learning Russian and Ukrainian, my Spanish is out the window. It's gone. It's completely gone. And if I try to speak it, I start mixing in Russian, and then nobody understands me.
I don't even know. No, I don't even know either of them. So I need to take Ukrainian classes. I feel like I can come back probably next time and just sign up for some language classes. Like my buddy Graybeard, who went with me to Kharkiv, he's fluent in Japanese. He's learning Ukrainian. It's like guy knows like 3 languages. I need to learn some more than just Dakiu everywhere I go.
You're saying Diaku?
Diaku, yeah. See, I'm already struggling the way it goes. What are some of the ways you were able to learn Ukrainian, or language? Because you've traveled, so you know other words and other languages. So, what's an easy strategy for me
to
make it easier?
You just gotta move here.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So, guys, the last time I spoke to Mercado here, a few weeks ago, I was like, you know what? Why don't you just move to Ukraine? You're obviously a huge Ukrainian supporter. Mm-hmm. You're now fortunate enough to be able to work online. I think online, remote work, has changed the game for everybody in the world, where you don't have to be, you don't have to live where you work anymore.
Right.
And what's nice about Ukraine is we have such good internet. I actually think Ukraine is the best internet I've seen in the 50 countries I've traveled to.
Wow.
Because it's fast, it's stable, there's a lot of different options.
Yeah.
And it's cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Sri Lanka was the opposite of all that. You had all the options are bad. There's a kind of a monopoly in each place, so you can only have that.
Yep.
The internet wasn't fast, and it was capped. And even when they say unlimited,
Yeah.
you know, it's like that.
It's
that
like
throttled unlimited.
Yeah, it's
They're
got,
like,
yeah.
like, you know, it's unlimited until 30 gigabytes, and then it's like
drops off.
It's dog crap.
That fucking
This is
sucks.
how good Ukrainian internet is. I came back, and I forgot that I hadn't paid my internet bill in 8 months, and I was still just using it. And I was watching like YouTube. I was like sending emails.
It was just fine.
And it was slow, but I was like, man, I remember Ukrainian internet being like better than this. But I was like, it was kind of, you know, it was working,
Yeah.
it was crawling, and I was like, man, like what happened, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized that because I hadn't paid my bill so long,
Yeah.
they throttled me to like 1 megabyte per second or something, just fast enough so I can log in and pay my bill.
Yep.
But it wasn't really meant for me to like be using it. And I was like, this throttled free internet is better than a lot of the internet I've had in other countries, especially Sri Lanka.
Oh my goodness. And even like the cell service, like my American phone, I only get maximum 3G. Like right now, I'm literally watching the stream in 1080p on 3G, which it sounds insane because that's impossible in the United States because 3G is basically just a brick now at this point. But even like the 3G works well. I have 4G LTE on that phone, which is the one streaming, so clearly it's powerful enough, you know. So even just like the cell data, but the internet too. They have like, you have fiber optic, don't you?
Yeah, so I fiber.
We don't even have that in the U.S. in most places.
So I did a speed test the other day.
Yeah.
I get 500 megabytes down.
Whew.
And most importantly, guys, up.
No.
Sequential.
You have 500 megabytes
Yes.
up? Dude, I would be able to stream whatever I wanted in 4K probably.
Yeah. I upload my 35-minute 4K videos in like just a few minutes.
That's so unfair, bro. I have a maximum of 40 upload.
So this is just like my cell phone data.
Hold it up a little closer. Show them.
That's just cell phone data.
So this is cell phone numbers we're looking at here. 60 download, 44 upload. Again, LTE. Again, that's on LTE, guys. That's like 5G numbers in the US.
Yeah. But
that's insane.
what is my... Can I see my history?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it.
From your speed test?
Results?
Should be on there.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah,
This is from my house the other day.
Unfair. I'm pissed because I get maximum. We don't have fiber optic in my place at home in the U.S. and I get maximum of 40 upload, and then that even is sus. That's insane.
I'm going to piss you off even more. How much do you pay back home? Who do you have, by the way?
I have Xfinity.
Okay. Comcast Infinity. How much do you pay a month?
It's not too bad, but it's like $96 a month. But that's just the internet, you know. Oh God, stop.
So this is the problem, right?
Oh jeez.
I'm gonna call you guys out, Americans. All right.
Oh dear.
Y'all getting played by these internet companies, these telecom companies, and you guys are just because it's normal. That's normalized because everyone else pays the same.
Yeah.
And if you're like, oh well, my friend has AT&T pays the same, my friend who has Comcast pays the same, you think it's normal, but it's like not legally a monopoly, but it's technically a monopoly because you have no other options, right? $96 a month for dog shit internet, or actually even good internet, is expensive, right? I pay.
Yeah.
I think it's 350 hryvnia, like $10 a month for unlimited 500 down and up sequential internet. And if they can do it here, right? Maybe it'll be a little bit more in the U.S. because it's, you know, you have labor, but like, come on, guys, like it shouldn't be 10 times the price for less service. And
it's shittier too. It's
way shittier.
Like 40 upload is like the max for non-fiber optic, I think, in the U.S. for most places, but that's so dog shit. Even my cell phone bill too, like having this 4G LTE on my cell phone is way cheaper, but apparently there's a cheaper option, which Kosa Gundy told me. He's like, bro, you're still paying too much. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, it's only $20. He's like, yeah, that's still way too much. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like, I think my cell phone bill is about $10 as well. So like, it's possible. I really believe it's greedy telecom companies that have a monopoly. They have these contracts where they can be the only one in a certain area, so they don't have an incentive to upgrade.
Yeah.
To be fair, the U.S. is very big.
Yep.
So it costs a lot of money to lay this infrastructure.
Yep.
But there's solutions, guys. Like, so for example, my buddy Brian, who I stayed with the Carpathians, he was saying that he wasn't getting fiber because he lives on a mountain in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
And the telephone company was just like, look, it's not profitable for us to like bring the cable to you because there's only 5 of you guys on this mountain. And it's going to cost us too much money.
Yep.
And he just said, well, how much would it cost you to bring it up? They're like, I don't know, $300. And he's like, look, I'll pay that. Just like bring it up. They're like, okay.
Right.
So in the U.S., if you had something like that, like if you lived somewhere like in a rural area where it wasn't profitable for them to bring the cable all the way to your house, but they could bring it to like the main junction box, that's a solution. Why not, right?
That's why I do support Biden's internet bill. Americans are like, well, it's not important, blah, blah, but actually it is. Like having broadband at least in the rural areas, and then that could improve the rest of the quality of the internet in the places that it already exists. So I do support things like that, and I like that. I was going to ask you now, your future plans for your YouTube channel. You had talked about it on your video vlog, and people in your comments were like, oh, we really hope you don't stop like completely. And I know you're weighing that in the balance. So do you want to talk about that?
So when I said, I think what threw people off is I said 100% I'm going to stop using Twitter.
Yeah.
And I'm going to slow down my social media. Mm-hmm. Like things like, having these trolls, just like it plays like a, hindrance on like mental happiness, Especially like when the fact that they can just be these anonymous people with no profile, with just some fake profile, and they get the same soapbox as someone who actually puts themselves out there. They have a real name, they have a real face, they have a family, So it's just like an unfair balance. Like why would you argue with someone who's some anonymous person who might just be a moron, or might be a 12-year-old, boy? Like why would you put that energy to argue?
Right.
But because these people are putting misinformation out about Ukraine, it's actually hurting real people here.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's my duty as someone who has a big channel to be able to fight that.
Yeah.
And put out the correct information. So right now, I'm not doing it for myself, to be honest. Like I'd rather just not have Twitter. I'd rather not have, any of this crap. But I feel like kind of a obligation as one of the few foreigners, in Ukraine that has a unique perspective, that's able to fight this information in English, to do it. So as soon as the war over, X is X'd. That's gone. As far as YouTube, I don't want to do it as much as I am now. Like now I'm uploading like 15 videos a month, which is a lot, It's a full-time job, basically.
Yeah.
I don't have time to, go to like Ukrainian classes or Russian classes, Like I don't have time to like have like a normal life. I basically, one day is shooting, one day is editing, one day is like, uploading and checking comments and like, and I like it. It's enjoyable, but I can't do that forever.
Yep.
Eventually I want to just make like 1 or 2 videos, I don't know, let's say 1 video a week.
Yep.
But I want it to be like a cool video that I really enjoy. I want to travel somewhere. Maybe at some point I'll even make 1 video a month, but like an epic video. Like, this is my trip to Odessa.
And just do like 1 full video for that.
Yeah. So
that'd be dope.
We'll see what happens, guys. I mean, things change, right? Yeah. But this isn't. I've never had a desire to be the PewDiePie of YouTube or something.
Right, and most of us that do YouTube really don't. I mean, it's more of like maybe if you hit the jackpot lottery and like you hit the algorithm and you go viral, then you'd like assess the situation and see maybe if you want to lean into it or not. But yeah, I'm enjoying the pace that I'm at, where it's like, building a community. We'll see what happens. Right now I'm locked in on current events, like you said, fighting misinformation for me personally. My channel's more geared for that, like news and stuff. But when I'm all said and done, I would love to do something similar to like you've done, just like travel vlogs and like experiencing things and like sharing that with people, not conflicts or war. Like I've been in, most of my content's been like, people getting fucked up, like tear gas flashbangs, literally went to the front lines. So I want to kind of get away from that in the future, because it does take a toll.
Someone's gonna freeze frame that and be like, "Look, there's Nazis in Ukraine."
Oh my god! Fuck, the trolls got me.
Oh, they got you, man. I'm like, oh, lucky we did it. No, I was gonna say lucky we didn't do it at the same time, but they're just gonna like cut it in half.
Oh my god!
I'm like, look, these guys. Good morning, Kyiv.
Trolls got me.
Sponsored
dude.
by
Oh, my God.
Hitler.
Oh,
Oh
jeez.
God.
Hell.
Oh no, time clip. Sorry. Oh man.
Oh man.
Well, you know what? I mean, that's the internet for you, right? Like
is.
it's a cruel place. I think most people are getting smart enough now where they can kind of see through and ignore the BS.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm seeing it. I am seeing that. I have a community like that, so I do get to see that. But I feel there's also an equal force against it. Like especially like AI is such a good tool, and I love it, and I love what I can do with it. But they're like the deep fakes of images that like propagandists are using, like Russia, for example. You know,
Oh, yeah.
doctoring images and stuff to try to keep misinformation alive.
Yeah.
Because it's true. Like right now we're in a digital space where you can go live places and provide like direct information or
Yeah.
conversations, and that's great. And I hope that this energy of what we're doing can take off and combat the misinformation.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys that are watching and understanding what's actually happening in Ukraine. That you guys care, because you're like the ambassadors of this information. You know, I can't talk to every person at the grocery store who's like, well, I read on Reddit that Zelensky's actually a Nazi Jew,
Right.
and he's
Tucker
a
Carlson
CIA
told me.
implant. Yeah. Like, I'm not there to combat against that, but you guys can. You can put them in place and be like, listen, like
This is
you
not-
know,
yeah.
yeah.
And it takes everybody, it takes all of us to be a part of that. And you have the power to do so. A lot of the time, like propagandists or those that push misinformation will use like the magical they out there say there is no magical they. It's the collective, but it's you guys can be the they whatever and take it upon yourselves, like Johnny said, and speak the truth out here in life. Like that, yeah.
Power to the truth.
All power
Power
to
to
the
the
people.
truth.
All power to the people. Final thoughts, Johnny, and then we'll go have some breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just very grateful to have this position, to be able to have guys like you watching bring to life something like this,
Yes.
because it was I don't know, it felt really tangible. Like, actually, this is the 6th vehicle that I've helped raise for Ukraine, but the other ones I never got to drive.
Yeah.
Like a few of them I'd seen in person, a few of them I've seen photos and videos of all of them, but like a lot of them just I guess I've been in Brandon's truck and then it got blown up, actually.
Oh, wow.
He got hit by a landmine.
Yeah.
But luckily, he's alive.
Yeah.
So the truck did its job. It got him to where he needed to do. He rescued hundreds of people, and then it got blown up.
Yep.
But you know what? It's just a thing, right?
Yes.
It's just a tool. So same thing as these NAFO trucks. I don't expect mine to last more than a few months because it's with an assault unit.
Yeah.
So they're literally
They're gonna
in
be
Bach
using the
Blue right
shit
now.
out of it. Yeah.
But if it helps them with their mission, if it helps save some lives, it helps, drive the enemy back, regain territory, then it was worth it. So, big shout out to the NAFO guys. I wish you guys would send out the patches quicker because the donors are waiting for them. But we got the truck. That's the most important thing. Thank you to everyone who's been helping all the humanitarian causes as well. My last video was at a family center in Odessa. It's a really cool place where it's like basically a free daycare.
Wow.
And then the moms get job training.
Wow.
So the mom, and all the kids I met, they were from Donetsk, Mariupol, Kherson, Kharkiv, these places that they just can't live in anymore. And a lot of times the fathers or the husbands are in the military fighting right now. So you have these moms that are basically raising the child on their own with no community. They didn't work before, and now they're like, well, I don't know what to do. So, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Dream in Ukraine. It's that plane, Myra, Myra, Myra Family Center Odessa. You can check my channel, Johnny FD. It's the last video. These guys have been really cool, and it's just I feel like kind of an obligation, to be able to help places like that, because actually, I don't know who the family is.
Yep.
But actually, it was funded. It started by a British family that had an adopted Ukrainian child. That when this war started, they were like, you know what, we can't adopt everyone, but let's try to help as many as we can. Shout out to that family. Unfortunately they're anonymous, so I can't thank you, personally. But I'm sure there's some people watching that have excess money, have big pockets, have big hearts, and you want to help organizations like NAFO or this family center. Like, thank you guys for what you're doing, because I wish that everybody, like, let's say Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He has a couple $1 billion.
Yeah.
Maybe he could be doing a little bit more.
Instead of wasting time pushing Russian propaganda online.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Well, thank you, Johnny, so much for coming back on to mine and Alex's show. Alex is the monkey now, so that's Alex now. If you just started tuning in, Alex had to leave and go to work, so he was in the show earlier. Click on Johnny FD's YouTube channel. It's hyperlinked in the title, so you don't have to do any work finding it. Click it, subscribe, support Johnny FD, because when I leave, he's a resident of Kyiv, so he's still here. He's going to be doing vlogs, and like he said, as long as the war is going on, he's going to be providing information from here. So tune in, donate to our NAFO campaign, the electronic warfare truck for the 66th Brigade. It's in the description. We're at 50% already, so let's continue going. Big things are coming, you guys. I got a summit in Washington, D.C. I'm going to be attending. I'll be talking more about that in the days to come. Again, if you want to see me back in Ukraine again, we got to get this NAFO truck fundraised.
So let's say we can get this NAFO truck raised this month, and it comes on the next convoy in November.
Yeah.
Who's going to pick it up?
November, I would.
You're going to come back again?
Yeah, I'm coming back in November. Yeah.
Okay.
But if I don't have a truck though, then no, I'll just donate that money to Ukraine and not waste a plane ticket and shit. So.
Okay.
But I need a truck.
All right.
Yep.
So guys, you heard it.
Yep.
Let's get this truck donated so we can hang out again.
Yeah.
I'll come hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not doing another campaign for this truck right now because I'm out of cash, and
Yep.
I think my audience is a little bit needs a little break.
Yeah.
But the truck's a truck. It doesn't matter who it comes from. Like, the truck's a truck.
Exactly. And we all support each other's stuff. Oh, the other thing too, Arthur Ray is supposed to have this drone campaign started that we were a part of that we'll be pushing out and sharing too, which is going to
be a really cool video.
Be super badass.
Keep it out
I
for
can't
that.
wait. A couple things too before we go. We have super stickers and shit
Yeah,
coming in.
yeah.
I want to make sure I thank the viewers that have sent these really fast. So Alex, so Indian Dude $20, Song K5 gifted, Dubsy $2, thank you. Also Brandon. That Ukraine the best I can. He's going to be a guest on the show probably next
nice.
week. He should be back in Kyiv. Jenny, welcome to the channel. DM, keep up the good work. Thank you.
Nice.
Billy Joe, thank you. Ozzy T 5 gifteds. He's killing it. Barry says, "Go Ozzy T gifted membership machine."
Jose says my 2 favorite YouTubers in one show. All good
wow.
in the world. Nice.
Shout out to Jose. Blue Texas with a $50 super chat. Breakfast fun. Thanks, guys.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we're about to go have some breakfast.
So Blue Texas, I'm gonna eat good right now because of you. So thank you.
Thank you. You might have to show. Do you know a good breakfast spot?
I'm gonna show you the best.
All right,
ones.
so he's going to take us to a breakfast spot, a new one, all right? And then James Parsons, no questions, go you banana benders, Saturday AFL final. Thank you so much for that, James. And with that, we're going to go to breakfast and have a wonderful day. Thank you guys again for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.
See you on the next one. Slava Ukraine.
Adam Slava.
All right, that was a good
That's
one.
for you, Putin. In its face.
Yes.
Boom, boom. That's Muay Thai fighter, guys. Cool.